Are you not entertained? What happened in Edmonton tonight? I'll tell you what happened in Edmonton tonight. Outstanding, trademark, pure entertainment Canadian football. And while all thoughts across Blue Bomber land are with Zach Collaros, what we saw in Edmonton in Winnipeg's 38-29 come from behind thriller of a victory to move to 7-2 on the season is the sudden emergence of a young quarterback that took a very good football team from way down all the way to victory. And we've got so much to get into on the post-game show tonight. What's going on, everybody? My name is Darrin Bauming. Welcome inside Game Day After Dark. Let's bring in the man, as we always do. Zach Schnitzer joins us on the post-game. What's going on, Schnitzy? How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see everybody out in the live chat as well. Did you have fun watching that game tonight?
Not at first, buddy, but eventually I did. Oh my God. I have coined this game. I came up with the crumb back, my friend. I have coined this game the brownout. This was a brownout.
Okay.
Unbelievable. You know,
That's pretty on the
when the elect
nose.
yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
pretty
on the
good.
nose.
You know when the power goes out, it's a brownout.
Or
The
like,
power went out.
yeah, like not a blackout completely, but just like
No.
rolling blackouts is a brownout, right?
Yeah, and something short circuited there, and boom, electrified. I was going to call the game the Drumination game, but I like Brownout. What happened? What happened there? Like they're down 22-0. I was tearing my hair out. At one point, DB, they not only give up, they give a 22-0 lead, but Zach Collaros looks like he's hurt, and insult to injury, even after it goes to command center. They don't call that roughing the passer, which you pulled up the criteria for roughing the passer. You know, I think there's what, A, B, C, D, and E dimensions to that. One is, hit to the head. One is late. One is the quarterback's giving himself up. You hit him late. Like it hit on 5 of 7 of the criteria, and still they didn't call it. So here you're down 22-0 to the lowly Elks, and Collaros is out of the game, and he might have a concussion. I was dying inside, buddy. And then to see Drew Brown and the Brownout game bring him all the way back and outscore the Elks 38-7 in the next 3 quarters. Wow. That is what championship football teams do, buddy.
An absolutely horrid start, insult to injury, on the nose pun there, but pardon it.
Yeah.
After a horrid start, Zach Collaros down to injury. We're going to talk at length about the rules, about the hit Coney Ely laid late, in my opinion, on Zach Collaros. We'll talk about Drew Brown. We'll get into what led to his success, all of his numbers. We'll probably pull up some video highlights for everybody here on the post game. We'll talk about Demario Houston getting beat on that long touchdown late in the third quarter. We'll talk about Edmonton's ridiculous propensity to commit penalties. We'll talk about Chris Jones' failed challenge for offensive pass interference on Nick Dembski. We'll talk about that disgusting, filthy, abhorrent catch by Kenny Lawler, one-handed in the back of the end zone to give the Blue Bombers the lead that they rode all the way to a 38-29 victory. And we will get more comments on the Bonfire Hotline and everybody joining us in the live chat. This post game is going to be awesome. I can't wait to get into it. So let's not wait. And you know what? We'll get into the Zach Collaros situation a little bit later in the show, okay? Because I think there is a lot more pressing of what we know for sure All we know on Zach Collaros is he is out with an upper body injury. No update after the game. I heard Mike O'Shea talk on the radio post game about Collaros. Obviously Mike O'Shea had thoughts about the hit because he did challenge it and the play was upheld. But as of right now, we do not know what the injury is. It could be a neck injury. It could be a chest injury. It could be a shoulder injury. It could be a head injury. It could be a variety of things. I am not going to speculate on whether it is a concussion or not. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, but we do not know anything for sure. And I would not be a responsible journalist if I started talking about that. So, Zach, I know we got a lot to get to with Zach Collaros, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's talk about Drew Brown and just how incredible he looked in relief of Zach Collaros. And the numbers do not lie. 17 of 24 for 307 yards. He was 70% passing, 4 touchdowns, and a QB efficiency rating of 152.8. What did you see in the Blue Bombers' young third-year quarterback?
Oh my God! Well, it was a brownout game. He comes in. He's the backup. Zach Collaros, your probable third time in a row, 3 straight MOP quarterback goes out, and what does he do? He just sliced and diced the Elks. Now the Elks aren't, they're not winning any awards on defense, Darren, but they were up
No.
22-0. You have some gamers there like Lucius Purifoy, Ed Gainey. You got a few players there, Jake Serezna. But anyway, what happened there?
I'll get that straightened out. Sorry about that. Have any fear, any problem spreading the wealth. And that shows you're a good quarterback. You're not just relying on 1, 2, or 3 guys. There was no comfort zone for Drew Brown.
Darrin,
He was in the zone.
Darrin, they can't hear you, buddy.
Well, they can't hear
Oh,
me?
there you are. They couldn't hear you for a bit. Can
Oh,
you guys hear me now? They couldn't hear you.
well, that's no good.
Oh, we can hear you now.
That's no good. What I was
But
saying is
you,
what we saw on the screen there with the receiving numbers is a whole bunch of guys with with um
yeah,
with numbers, right? What I
yeah,
was saying, and I hate that nobody was able to hear me. Audio is back. Okay, good to see everybody. Appreciate the assist, everybody out there, helping Zach and I out. What I was saying is those numbers. We saw a whole bunch of players that Drew Brown was able to utilize. A whole bunch. There was no comfort zone. There was no comfort zone for Drew Brown tonight. He was purely in the zone. Rashid Bailey, 3 second down conversions. Dembski had 2 second down conversions. Schoen had 2 second down conversions, let alone the pass interference penalties that he drew on that penalty-laden Blue Bombers touchdown drive that Dakota Prukop completed with a 1-yard run. Lawler, O'Leary Orange, Wolotarski all completing on second down. We don't see any huge chunk plays. The longest play off the arm of Drew Brown, 32 yards. 32-yard touchdown to Lawler. Actually, it was a little bit farther because it was the back of the end zone. 32-yard strike to Nick Dembski as well. So you look at Drew Brown's 307 yards passing. That is not a mystique 307 yards. That is an earned 307 yards passing. He was
yeah.
incredible tonight. He really was.
Yeah, and I like how Bomber fan is saying this just as I was going to say it. Rashid Bailey was a leading receiver with what 85 yards. DB. It looks like him and Drew Brown have a bit of a connection. They did in that BC game that Drew Brown started last year late
Mm-hmm.
at BC Place, where I think Bailey had at least one touchdown, but led the team in yards that game. So a neat connection between the two of them, but. Yeah, I mean, when you spread the ball around like that, it means that the playbook was wide open.
Yep.
They didn't simplify things for Drew Brown tonight.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, just what a roller coaster of emotions. Like, you saw the Bombers come all the way back to get within 5 points, and then the Kyron Moore 70-yard touchdown. And you're like, what is going on here? What is going on? Houston misses that tackle. Oh, he was just one-on-one, and you can't miss that tackle. I mean, Houston has made a number of huge plays this year, DB. I mean, we'll talk about this as we go, but
Yep.
that was a tough one for him to take. At the same time, that there's a reason why they call Kyron Moore Swerve. They get played too, right? They get paid to play.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny. Zach. Speaking of quarterbacks, to keep on that topic, like Zach Collaros looks like the second coming of Taylor Cornelius with that pick six that he threw. Like, that's this kind of garbage Cornelius was showing. I mean, do you think Collaros
Desperation.
had it? Do you think he had it tonight? Do you think he would have won that game for the Bombers the way Drew Brown did? I don't know. There was just
I
something
wouldn't I
about.
wouldn't put look, I just my opinion. I wouldn't put anything past Zach Collaros. If he had a horrid start to the game, I know that he is capable. He's shown it to flush it, to move on, and to play the next snap. Uh, Mike O'Shea talked about it in his post-game comments on CGOB, and he said that he was very impressed with the calmness and the workman-like energy on the Blue Bombers sidelines when they were trailing heavy early. So, we'll never know, right? But I don't think I'm not of the opinion that Zach Collaros wouldn't have won that game. Drew Brown was very good. We've seen Zach Collaros play that way as well.
Yeah, and maybe some of it is they don't prepare for Drew Brown, right? Edmonton didn't. They prepared for Collaros. They didn't prepare for Brown, and they're going to play a little bit differently, even if the playbook is opened up.
Yep. You know what? Let's take a look at that actually. Let's take a look at that play that we were just talking about because hey, we can do that here on Game Day After Dark. here is the play from Zach Schnitzer that resulted in a pick six. And then, of course, the late hit as well from Coney Ely. So, desperation. Yeah, I mean, you can just take the sack, but he chose not to. And interception and 6 is what resulted. And I mean, hey, that's going to happen sometimes. Are you still with me, Zach?
I'm muted.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry about that, brother.
you muted me, Darrin.
Yes. Your thoughts on this play?
Well, I mean, it had the game been closer, it would have been a play that maybe we would have even talked about more, but really it could have been the difference in the game because it's a 7-point swing, but
Mm-hmm.
that's roughing the passer. I mean, it's the very definition of it. I'm not saying it was malicious or that it was a dirty hit or that he had attempted to hurt Zach, but he could have let up and he landed on his face. He could have just, all it took was, fine, maybe he's falling to the ground. He could easily have jumped over Zach. It was a completely avoidable play. It's the very definition of roughing the passer. It's a hit to the head. It's a hit to the defenseless quarterback. It's avoidable.
Well,
The
there's
only, the
Ely
only,
right there. Not
yeah,
quite yet in pursuit, I would say, true pursuit of the tackle. And Kolaris is doing a one-handed push-up right here, right? Trying to keep his knees off the ground and still, live and to throw the ball away. And I understand that is real bang bang. But Kolaris is in a vulnerable position. And Coney Ely, I think maybe did try to let up. He could have really schmucked him. Didn't. But the ball is out of Kolaris's hands. And Ely is still, not on his knees yet, right?
no, and,
Now,
and it's
I
not like
think at
Zach
this
was
point,
running the
Ely
ball.
realizes it, and that's why he plants his knee down hard and lets up on Kolaris. But the reality is he hit him in the head. He hit him
Yeah,
in the head. You can't do that.
you can't do that. And it's not like Zach was a running play where he was rushing and sliding or something. It was a passer. He was throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And T. Konopali agrees with us with his all caps. I love it. Love it, Pyro. Anyway,
Pyro.
everyone agrees it was a hit to the head, except for Jim Barker. But whatever. Who cares what Jim Barker has to say?
Well, it's just one person's opinion, right?
Yeah.
We are all entitled to our opinions, but they're just your opinion, right? They're just our opinions. Uh, Mike O'Shea had an opinion, challenged the play, and um, lost the challenge. Uh, I guess while we're at it, I mean, hey, I want to get into Walby's Warrior, Westwood's Wide to the Right, the Bonfire Burning Point, the Happy Honker, our game balls. I think we know who's getting a lot of those tonight. But since we're on the topic, it is the hot topic right now. Uh, it seems like every time I pull this up, it mutes us. Do I have you muted, Zach? I don't think so, right?
No, I'm
Okay.
good.
So John Hodge, a 3 Down Nation, tweeted this, and I retweeted it and mentioned that it was a late blow to the passer after the ball is released. It was contacting the passer in an unnecessary manner, including stuffing them to the ground, violently throwing them to the ground, and landing on them with most of the defender's weight. Maybe Ely didn't do that, okay? But he did deliver a late blow to the passer after the ball is released. C, delivering a blow to the neck or head, he did do. Delivering a blow at or below the knees, didn't do that. Attacking the passer who, after releasing the ball, is either standing still or fading backwards and is obviously out of the play and remains out of the play. Definitely what happened. And here, I'll get rid of the bonfire logo here. 1 second. And we can look at the rest. F is contacting the quarterback unnecessarily after the quarterback slides to give themselves up. Well, that's not necessarily what happened. That is when, they're running forward. He was effectively sacked, a non-contact sack, but was down. G, contacting the passer when either the initial or primary source of contact is the defender's helmet. That is not what happened. But there is a few of these here that did. And I think that's where, in my opinion, the opinion of others, I think that's where, the command center got it wrong.
How does it? But I get the refs on the field get it wrong, Darrin. But how does the command center, after looking at a slow motion video from many angles, how do they get that wrong? Like, how does that even happen? I don't even understand how that can happen. I get the refs can get it wrong, but the command center, it's a joke.
It happens.
It
It
happens.
happens.
You've got what, 6 subsections that all you have to meet is one of those criteria or criterion in it, and it's roughing the passer. It's unnecessary roughness. There was at least 3 that are pretty clearly meeting the criteria, and the command center. I mean, yeah, it baffles me, buddy. I don't get it.
It's a tough one. I want to pull up the Dalton Schoen touchdown, Winnipeg's first score of the game. And again, forgive me if I mute microphones because it seems like every time I screen share it does. But yeah, it did mute us. But here's Drew Brown. Like, he really stands in the pocket with confidence.
That's what I was gonna say, DB. Like, just the way he stays in. That's a veteran throw. Like, just the way he stays in the pocket with the bullets flying and the Elks rushing. They weren't rushing 3 or 4. They're rushing what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. So it's a bit of a blitz there.
Yep.
One guy is a delayed blitz, and he throws it in the money.
Yep. Like, watch his feet. Sets up, drops,
Yeah.
does one little hitch backwards. This is the hitch right there. That's what they call a hitch step. And then he delivers it.
Right.
Great
Yeah.
football. Really, really impressively done.
And
Yeah,
that was a drive they absolutely needed to score on because they were down 22-0. It gave them a bit of life in the second quarter.
Yeah, agreed. Really, really impressively done. Let's get into it. Walby's Warrior. Everybody in the live chat, it's lit tonight.
Yeah, it's a
What
good one.
an unbelievable turnout for the postgame show here on Bonfire Sports. Great to see everybody watching live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. Maybe you're listening afterwards on the podcast. Head over to YouTube. This is what I challenge everyone to do. Don't give a thumbs up. Don't do it. Okay? Walby's Warrior. Everybody in the live chat, let us know, who is your Walby's Warrior tonight? Zach, who do you like?
For me, I was going to give all the major awards to Drew Brown, but I think the Warrior for me is Oliveira. I think he's my Warrior every post game. But man, what an absolute hammer he is. And everybody else is a nail on the Elks. Like, if you would have told me that Brady Oliveira would have outgained Kevin Brown after Kevin Brown's 65-yard opening play TD, I would have been like, really? That's shocking. But Brady Oliveira, they went to him early and often. I mean, a lot of our fire starters have talked about this, but and maybe you saw something there too, Darrin. But the play fakes or the RPOs that Drew Brown was throwing down were, I mean, even the TSN camera person couldn't keep track of where it was going at some points, right? And that really opened up the run because teams didn't know if the Edmonton Elks didn't know if he was going to pull it, if he was going to let Brady run with it. They mixed in some Dembski running from the tailback position. All of those things helped Brady Oliveira have 130 combined yards 20 through the air on that beautiful screen pass. I mean, what a play call by Buck Pierce on that final touchdown. He drew the entire blitz in like a moth to a flame, and then just flicked it over the line to a wide open Oliveira. That's one of the best play calls I've seen in a long time. But Brady Oliveira, I think he had a 7.8 yard average, 110 yards on 14 carries, buddy, and he was just eating. And that's a way to get back in
Man,
the game, is when you have your running back just
physical.
hammering guys, either getting first downs outright or getting 7 or 8 yards on first down,
Like,
eating up the clock. That just saps the will of the Edmonton Elks over the course of the game, buddy.
just physical, just
Yeah,
punishing running style from Brady Oliveira. He is the hammer every time he hits the nail. It
yeah,
is incredible.
yeah.
That's your Walby Warrior tonight. I'll give it to the offensive line because, uh, you know, they played one of their best games of the year.
Yeah,
And no, Edmonton does not have a ferocious pass rush. They don't have a particularly good defense. But we have to remember that the center quarterback exchange, different with Drew Brown in. We have to
true.
remember that Drew Brown's style of play, different from Zach Collaros. Being in the huddle, the energy, the cadence, everything different. And the O line did not take any penalties, I don't think. Uh, Definitely none that cost them. And they allowed a young quarterback in Drew Brown to operate. And they allowed him time and space to make it happen. And it was incredible. Want to pull up one more highlight here. Is this the one? Yeah. This is when Winnipeg found the end zone again, and it was 16 unanswered points. 16 unanswered. And no, not play action, but look at this ball.
Yeah, perfectly thrown.
You know, I would say nearly perfectly thrown. Maybe a touch underthrown, but hey, I'm nitpicking here big time because yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe that is perfectly thrown. I think Zach Collaros might have put it a little bit more over
Yeah,
the shoulder, the Willie
yeah,
Mays style as they talk about, but unbelievable how poised and how confident and how smooth Drew Brown is. Great time
yeah,
from the offensive line. And then Dembski just making a great catch. He had a very nice catch on that drive prior to that touchdown as well. So my Walby Warrior goes to all 7 of the O linemen tonight, the starting 5, and then as well Tuieli and Liam Dobson. Westwood wide to the right. This is the moment where you and I kind of pick a moment or a situation or a thing from the game that was bad.
you know what? I'm gonna have to give it to Brian Cole for a 15-yard misconduct penalty when the Bombers were still trailing, and they had it on their own 35-yard line. They were going to start a drive with decent field position on their own 35, and they went backed up to their own 20. And it didn't bite the Bombers in the end, but I know that we've talked about on this show how the coaching staff were unhappy with Brian Cole before a couple times and maybe yelling at him the last game. Well, this is not going to do him any favors. And he's a very athletic guy with a huge upside, but if you make plays like that, I don't know what he did. Maybe you do, or maybe the Firestarters do. But if you do stupid stuff like that, you're not going to see the field, nor should you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Um, that's a good Westwood wide to the right. I will go with, um, I'll go with the missed call. I really do
Yeah.
believe that if the CFL has an MO, a mission objective to protect quarterbacks, they need to get that call right. And I understand Coney Ely was likely letting up. I see that. I see that he was likely letting up. Okay. But he hit a quarterback who is down, out, on his belly. He hit him in the head, and it was late. So if Coney Ely was trying to let up and he still delivers a blow to the quarterback's head, even if Collaros didn't leave the game, you can't do that. So my Westwood wide to the right is to the CFL not getting the call right, because I feel
That's a good
strongly about
one.
that.
That's a good one, DB. We're getting lots of good wide to the rights on the chat here, buddy.
Yeah.
Including the play I talked about where Swerve goes for 70 yards, calling Richie Hall dialing up a zero blitz. Yeah, like why make it that easy for a young quarterback where you just have to make one guy miss, just throw it basically through a hitch
Well, let's look at
to
it. Let's
Kyron
look at it.
Moore. Yeah,
Here it
let's
is.
see.
Here it is. And what we see here, Zach, is like, look, they're off to the races, right? We'll watch that in a second, but I want to break this down at the beginning. Look at this massive humanity here. Rose
Yeah.
is in tight. Well, because Kopp is in tight as well, right? But there's Evan Holm. There is Brandon Alexander's in that mass as well. And here is Demario Houston, and here is Dylan Mitchell, right? It was Mitchell? Yeah. This is an emergency valve. When the blitz is coming like that, this is an emergency valve. That's that's the hot route, right? That's the heat's coming. We got to get something out quick. And there it is. And did Houston take the best line? No. This could have been a tackle for loss. But if you watch Demario Houston's body, he kind of gets faked out a little bit with the ball. You can see he anticipates it going to the sideline a little bit. And maybe I'm over dissecting this. But he gets beat and away they go. And I think that's just a really smart, audibleized play by a young quarterback. Those plays happen. But
I
Winnipeg
guess
was really bringing heat, and they got torched.
I guess they happen, but I just don't think Winnipeg had to bring that heat. I think when Winnipeg was rushing four and dropping guys back into coverage, it was pretty clear that Ford didn't have it. Like he's not a guy who's going to pick you apart from the pocket.
Yeah,
Excuse my alliteration there. I didn't even plan on that, but it was pretty good. But anyway,
it's pretty good.
he's not going to pick you apart. So why just throw everybody at him when you don't have to?
Yep.
He threw a pick. He missed guys. I don't get me wrong. I thought Trey Ford was a breath of fresh air for the league, especially for Edmonton. I wish him all the best when he's not playing us. I can't believe it took them so long to let him play. I mean, he's exciting.
Yep.
He's an exciting young quarterback. He has 4.4 speed. He's the fastest quarterback in the league. You saw him dice us up with his legs a little bit, but anyway, I just didn't like the play call. But hindsight is 2020. Maybe if they would have got home on that blitz, and maybe
Yeah, like
he made a.
it makes you wonder a little bit if the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are a little bit dicey against running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Forgive
A
me.
little
It
bit again.
mutes our microphones every time I do a screen share, but we'll try to get that straightened out. Here's Trey Ford's numbers. He was 75% passing, only threw it 16 times. I think the over-under, the prop on Trey Ford today going into the game was 19. I think it was 19 or 18 and a half over-under passing, maybe 19 and a half. Boy, I was really thinking about taking it. But there it is. I also thought they were going to be on the field a lot and that he would eventually hit that number, but he didn't. So 16 attempts, 75%, 189 yards, had a touchdown and a pick. But here, are the Blue Bombers a little bit susceptible to running quarterbacks? 5 carries for 50 yards.
No.
And he only had a long of 17. That's not an offset number from one big run.
Yeah.
Everybody in the live chat, let us know. Does the Blue Bombers defense against the running quarterback concern you? Because we know they're going to have to face Chad Kelly. at some point again this season, while they do have a regular season game, but could be a Grey Cup, could be a playoff situation. If it is, it's probably a Grey Cup. But you never know. You never know in the CFL. And good news that Chad Kelly is healthy and will play this week. The Argos are home to Ottawa on Sunday. But Vernon Adams Jr. can run. Chad Kelly can run. Uh, Mason Fine, maybe not put in position to beat teams with his legs, but when we're looking at Labor Day and the Banjo Bowl upcoming here, that could be something that's an issue. The Calgary Stampeders have an incredibly physical and fast running quarterback in Tommy Stevens, who runs their short yardage. That's Winnipeg's next opponent on Friday, August 16th in Calgary, before they return home against Montreal. So I want to hear it. Hit up the live chat. Let us know. Text the hotline, 204-816-TIPS, 816-8477. Standard message rates apply, just like when you're texting your mama, as we always say. Does that concern you, Zach? Quarterbacks just using their legs to beat Winnipeg?
I think in the CFL, when a running quarterback is fast, they can do that to any team, maybe. But there is a pattern here since the Grey Cup of running quarterbacks kind of exposing. Now, is it, dare I say, is it because Biggie is spying these guys and has maybe lost a bit of a step? I hate to say it, love Adam Bighill for the person he is,
He
the
didn't have a good
human
first
being he
half, that's for
is.
sure.
He seemed to be struggling in the first half. I don't know if he was spying Trey Ford and then the running back got by him, or whether, or what he was exactly doing. It seemed like he was out of position or whiffing on guys. I don't want to say as he lost a step, but I did. It feels like treasonous to say something like that about Biggie, but he's getting up there, and maybe that's one of the reasons why these running quarterbacks are having a little bit of success.
Let's talk about the spy, okay? And what a quarterback spy is and what it means. Chris Cobbett comments, watching live on Facebook. What's going on, Chris? Great to see you in the live chat. I don't know if I've seen you before. Welcome inside Bonfire Sports. Why don't they have a spy on mobile QBs? Asks Chris. Look, I am not an expert in any way, shape, or form. I am very layman when it comes to football and the intricacies of the X's and O's. Okay. I played football, but I did not play at an elite level. Okay. I played till I was like 21, 22, just major football, they called it, here in the city of Winnipeg. But what is a quarterback spy? Okay. That means you have a player, generally a linebacker or a safety, that simply sits 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and just shadows the quarterback. They spy, they stick on them, right? We saw Cam Judge do it against Dustin Crum, following the Crum back when Ottawa played Calgary. However, it's not something that teams can easily employ. And by that, I mean, yes, they easily can, but there are drawbacks to it because you are taking a player out of coverage and out of the pass rush. So you got one less pass rusher or one less player in your zone pass defense. So it means if a running back is coming out of the backfield, you have to allot a different player to them, whether it is another linebacker, whether it is the safety, whether it's the halfback and you shift the zone in your pass defense. If you're in man defense, right, and not a zone defense, if you're in man-to-man coverage, that means you're definitely going to have one less player in the pass rush. So it's not as easy as just saying, well, just put a spy on him and the rest is history. Every defense is built differently. So every defense is going to have a different effect, cause and effect of putting a spy on a quarterback. So overall, I think Winnipeg did a pretty good job containing Trey Ford. It's that when you are fast like that, when you run a 4.49 40-yard dash like Trey Ford did at the CFL Combine, and his brother, by the way, who was drafted by the Bombers, now with the Green Bay Packers, he ran a 4.4, which is ridiculously fast. That's why he's in the NFL. twin brother, defensive back. But the danger when you have somebody with that speed as a quarterback is when you're not expecting them to run and they find a seam and they take off. That's where the danger is. So you could spy them for 95% of the plays, and then the other five, well, they're going to find a seam and gash you through the middle. So,
Yeah.
but good
Yep.
question from Chris.
Yeah.
Um,
Very good question.
can we go back to Drew Brown? I want to pull this. I want to pull this highlight up. Great questions in the live chat today. Great to see everybody. And like I said, if you're in the live chat right now, do not hit the thumbs up. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it, everybody.
I'm telling you
Do
right
it.
now. Here is early in the fourth quarter. And watch Drew Brown with the play action.
Yeah. Sells it beautifully, eh?
And a beautiful throw on the run.
Yeah.
And Drew Brown mentioned to TSN after the game that he didn't even see the catch. And by the way, that fan cheering shown in the crowd, that's Christina Bighill, the wife of
Christina
Adam
Bighill.
Bighill. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But watching Drew Brown on a designed rollout, how smooth is this?
Yeah.
Calm, collected, perfect ball where only Kenny Lawler can get it. Marcus Lewis could not get that football. Could not get it, no matter
Would you,
what.
DB, would you say that's the best? Is that the best Bomber receiver catch since maybe Darvin Adams had a one-handed grab in Hamilton in 2017? Some people will remember
Yeah,
that catch.
it's up there. I don't know if it's one of the greatest of all time, but it's up there. It's a great catch. Do you see what I
Best?
see
No,
here?
I mean in recent memory.
Oh, recent memory for sure. Do you see what I see here, Zach?
Is he tugging on his arm?
Oh, yeah. This happens all the time in pro football. It's the egregious ones that get called. It's the less egregious ones that they let go. They call it hand fighting. But look at Kenny Lawler. He's holding his bicep right there. And
Yeah.
Marcus Lewis is also holding Kenny Lawler's bicep, right? That's hand fighting. But when the ball gets delivered and it gets a little bit too much, they'll call it. Well, unbelievable. I think that's
And
a clean play overall. I don't think my
there
bias is
was
showing if I say that's a clean play.
well, there was no PI on the call. Hey, maybe there should have been.
No, it wasn't. What a catch. What a crazy
Oh,
catch.
filthy.
Happy Honker Award. Zach, are you ready for it? Everybody out there, they either love or hate the sound effect for the Happy Honker. But the moment that brought some levity, some joy, some happiness to the game, the Happy Honker Award. You got one?
Well, you go first because I'm still thinking about mine.
Mm,
Do you have one?
okay. I am going to, well, look, I'm going to give the Happy Honker Award to somebody who's probably pulling in a lot of the awards tonight, and that's Drew Brown.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see a young quarterback in the Canadian Football League come in and shine, throw for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. You hate to see the injury, okay? But that notwithstanding, to see a young quarterback come in and play the way Drew Brown did, should have everybody in the league excited. Should have everybody in Winnipeg excited. Excuse me. Outstanding performance. That's my Happy Honker.
It's a good one. You know what? I was going to go in one direction, but then I'm seeing the chat here, and I'm getting swayed here. So Vicky Short has convinced me. Jeff Cabillas. I think it has to be the pick by Evan Holm. Here's a guy who was highly touted coming out of training camp, Darren. Mike O'Shea said he had the best feet he'd ever seen in a DB. And finally, he gets that glamour stat, which is the pick, which really helped turn momentum in the game, was Evan Holm with an interception. Beauty. He
Appreciate you, man.
deserves it.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a couple more of the comments. Yeah, Gerald mentioned Evan Holmes' pick. You know, I think that that is a good one. Can I tell you, I'm kicking myself right now? I am kicking myself. I had such a busy week that I did not post my one-on-one interview with Evan Holm.
Oh, really?
And me and Scott Billick and I don't know if the Free Press was there on day one of practice this week, but on the holiday Sunday, the holiday Monday this week, um, it was the long weekend this week. I'm completely out to lunch. It's
Uh,
summertime, right? Like there's no
if you're
holidays for me. I was
if
at
you're
the
out to
Rifles
lunch,
game. I was at
I'm
the Sea Bears game. I was at the Bombers game, and then practice. Either way, day one of practice. It was, hey, let's talk to Demario Houston. 6 interceptions, leads the league. And at the last minute, I go up to the Blue Bombers intern, communications intern, and I say, can I get Evan Holm, actually? I want to talk to Evan Holm because he's been very good. And I'm kicking myself because I did not post it because the week got away from me. Maybe I'll throw that up on YouTube soon. I'll throw that up.
Yeah, you
I
got
think
to throw it up,
it's
buddy.
still
You
relevant,
got it.
right?
I'd love to hear from Evan Holm.
Yeah. I
Love
hope
it
it's
that he
not
got.
I hope it's not too on the nose with like the or too timely with the like it was prior to the Elks game, right? Prior to this game. So uh yeah, okay. So that is your happy honker.
Yep,
I can't get over the sound effect.
you love it.
It's
You
there.
love it.
I have to do it. I have to. It's so
Absolutely, you have to do
cheesy.
it.
It's so good. Uh you know, look, if you don't like the happy honker horn, don't hit the thumbs up. Don't do it. Don't comment either. We don't want
And
to hear from you.
this is not reverse psychology, Darren. You are not using reverse
Psychology?
psychology.
I don't. No, no, absolutely not. Um, the bonfire burning point is the moment in the game that changed everything. What's a burning point? Well, it's like a boiling point, right? Whether something ignites here on Bonfire Sports or something boils, it means it goes from stagnant water to rapid evaporation. What was the bonfire burning point? The moment in the game tonight where things changed and led to a 38-29 result, Winnipeg's seventh victory of the season.
Well, I think for me the burning point was pretty clear that we had climbed back to within 5, Darren, and
Yeah,
then Trey Ford throws a 53-yard bomb to Dylan Mitchell, which really flipped the field. And I said to my cousin, I said, "Oh man, that's ball game, right? Like we climbed all the way back to within 5, and then he throws a 53-yard bomb, and the very next play." They caused that fumble. That was the first turnover the Bombers caused on the Elks. Holm had an interception later, but they caused the fumble. Jeffcoat, I don't know if Jeffcoat caused it, Darren, or he jumped on it,
both.
covered it. I don't know who caused it on Kevin Brown.
Unless they changed
Um,
it, he forced the fumble and recovered the fumble. At least that's what the rule set
nice,
said at the time.
nice. So
Yeah.
Jeffcoat causes the fumble. Then he gets the recovery, and then we turn that around, and I think that was the Dembski touchdown.
Mm.
Um, might have been the Dembski touchdown drive. Now after that, they do that they get that 70-yard touchdown to Swerve Kyron Moore, but then we answered that with a touchdown. That was the penalty aided drive. So that could also be the burning point where we get back to within 5. But
Yeah. You
yeah,
are correct
that
in all of that, by the way. The Jeff Coat
was
forced
I.
fumble and fumble recovery then led to the Dembski 18-yard touchdown,
Yeah,
and then the Kieran Moore 70-yard catch and run. Yeah.
yeah, and then after that could be the burning point. The bomber drive after that, which result I think that was the Prukop touchdown that was aided by the pass interference. I mean, Edmonton got penalized for 100 yards tonight, which is a lot. I mean, that's one way to lose when you're up 22-0 is to get penalized for almost an entire football field. That could have also been the wide to the right. I mean, yeah, I that is a problem. That is a
Yeah.
huge that's that's how you get to be 0-9. You don't get to be 0-9 for not taking penalties. They shot themselves in the foot. The Elks. I'm gonna have to try and find the Elks post game radio show because I can't imagine what fans are saying and what analysts have to say. But it's not easy to give up a 22 point lead,
Yep.
even in the CFL. You have to take dumb penalties and play stupid football.
Adrienne Marcel, watching live on Facebook. What's going on, Adrienne? The
Hello.
burning point was when Zach Schnitzer got injured. Others, Noah. Great comment from Noah, who's watching on YouTube. What's going on, Noah? Jarius going away from the run. I like
Yeah,
that. Oh,
yeah.
well, well, well. My old pal, Norm McKay. How you doing, Normie? Just finished watching Vikings Seahawks. Yeah, okay. You can watch a little NFL preseason. I know your Cowboys weren't in action, but
Preseason. Please
what?
tell me you watched
I'm
the
sure he
Bomber
did.
game, Norm McKay.
Normie,
Come
I'm
on.
sure Normie did. Great to see you,
Okay.
Norm. Big shout out to you and everybody in the Eli, Manitoba area, west of Winnipeg, close to my heart, this city boy that I am. Everybody out there, but great to see you. Thanks for joining. Joining the chat. Vicky Short says Dedmonton loves to shoot themselves in the foot with penalties. Yeah, I mean you could say some of those penalties, that penalty aided drive was ridiculous. How many penalties they took? 50 total yards of a 60-yard drive. When was that one? That was
That was the one after I think the home interception, wasn't it?
uh yes. Yes. Wait, I wrote it down somewhere here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was one of those touchdown drives. My bonfire burning point is the Zach Schnitzer injury because the score at that point was 22 to nothing, and a lesser team could have shriveled and become brittle and break. And the Blue Bombers didn't. Mike O'Shea, I mentioned this earlier in the show. Mike O'Shea mentioned it after the game that it was very calm, very workmanlike energy on the Blue Bombers sidelines following that injury. And then Drew Brown comes in and lights it up. He was outstanding tonight. Uh, to me, it's 22-0. QB1 goes down. QB2 comes in and he goes 2-0, but then puts together a 7-play, 85-yard drive on his second possession, leads a field goal drive, 8 plays, 52 yards on his third possession, and then goes into the half, and then comes out of the half, scores on his second drive, scores on his third drive. There it is. That's the Prue Cup one. See, I didn't highlight it in my notes. The Prue Cup 1-yard touchdown. That was the Gainey 24-yard PI. That was the too many men penalty on Edmonton, 10 yards. That was the Marcus Lewis 16-yard PI. Both of those PIs on Dalton Schoen, drawn by Dalton Schoen. Yeah, so after the Kieran Moore touchdown, Winnipeg just, boom, 5 plays, 60 yards, 50 of those 60 yards in penalties. And it's a 5-point ball game. Winnipeg trailed
Yeah.
by 5 at that point. But the bonfire burning point was QB1 going down, QB2 coming in and doing as incredibly well as Drew Brown did. Hit up the live chat. I want to know your bonfire burning point tonight. Zach, you got a game ball? You got 2 or 3 maybe?
Well, can I saw someone on the live chat ask this or make this statement, and I thought it was interesting, Darren,
Mm-hmm.
before I get to my game ball, which is when QB1 goes out and QB2 comes in, and considering it was a late hit, um, do you think the Bombers were playing angry? Do you think they were pissed off at what happened to Zach Collaros via Coney Ely?
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course they are.
I
You
think
think
they
Michael
were
Shea was
too.
the only guy on the Bombers bench being like, I think that's a penalty. I'm going to
Yeah.
challenge it? No doubt. You're always going to ride or die with your QB1. That's my quarterback. right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
real emotion. That's real shit. That's real shit right
Yeah.
there. You know?
Yeah.
So no doubt. Um, hilarious comment from Waiters. Drew Brown jersey is going to be selling like Ryan Dinwiddie jerseys from 2007 this week. LOL. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Get
um,
my game balls. I mean, I got it. Well, of course, everyone with half a brain is going to give a game ball or a couple game balls. Can you give more than one game ball to one player, DB? Can
no,
I give them 2 or 3 game balls?
you want to
Uh,
give Drew Brown all the balls?
the brownout. I want to give him all my balls. I want to give Drew
Oh my
Brown
goodness.
for the brownout all my balls.
This is why it's called
307
Game
yard.
Day After Dark,
Yeah, he's getting all
because
my
you better buckle
balls.
up.
Yeah, yeah, you better buckle up. You better ball out. That's what happens on After Dark. We ball out here. Yeah, Drew Brown. What was he? 17 to 24, 70% for 307 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
What backup comes in and throws 4 freaking touchdowns and spreads the ball out like that
And
to like six?
he didn't get the
What?
start.
No, he
It was
didn't take
crazy.
practice. He didn't take first team reps all week.
Nope.
But Buck Pierce did not shorten the playbook for him. He spread the ball far and wide, buddy. Um, I love how he has a chemistry with Bailey, who usually doesn't get the love in the receiving core. Um, yeah, I just he's my game ball hook, line, and sinker, buddy.
There is Drew Brown's number 17 to 24, 71% passing,
Yeah,
307 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. That's as big as anything. And yeah, there was a
and he,
tipped ball there, but like, can I just say this? Drew Brown, he did not get affected in any way, shape, or form by the stage. He was so confident. He just let it fly.
yeah,
I'm beyond impressed with Drew Brown. And I know you mentioned it earlier, Zach, that, you know, I've been talking about Drew Brown being a future starter in this league for a long time. I'm almost at the point where I don't want to draw attention to that
right,
because he was so good. He was so good tonight that
yeah,
everything we've said about him before, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This guy has something. He's got the juice.
yeah,
Game ball, yeah, from you, Zach. Game ball from me to Drew Brown. Um, I know I gave the offensive line the Walby Warrior. I would probably give Brady Oliveira a game ball tonight and say, you know, hey, go share it with those 7 big boys. You know, go get a steak in Edmonton tonight. Incredible, incredible performance from everybody around Drew Brown tonight. The O
yeah,
line, the run game, Dembski. You know, 4 carries. Like how many times Dustin Nielsen was like, Oliveira up the middle. Oh, it's Dembski again. Oh, it's Dembski
yeah,
again.
yeah,
You know, they
yeah,
were throwing wrinkles. I liked it.
yeah.
You
I almost what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say you could almost give a game ball to Buck Pierce.
Well, I was just gonna say that.
Well, you
Like
should have.
this wasn't the QB1 all week. He wasn't taking first team reps,
Yeah.
and Buck Pierce is able to switch gears and because he's not going to call all the same plays as he does for Kolaris. It's a different quarterback. Buck Pierce likes to call plays that his quarterback likes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he fits a game plan around his players. He doesn't just create a playbook that the players have to fit into. He's been very clear about that. And so he would have called plays that Drew Brown liked, and it worked to perfection. Buck Pierce was masterful, just like he was last week. I mean, just like Drew Brown is going to be starting somewhere next year, Buck Pierce is going to be a head coach. Maybe it's not right away, maybe because of some family stuff going on for him. But this guy's head coach material. Buck
You think
Pierce.
Drew Brown is going to be starting somewhere else next year?
I think he'll be starting for another team next year. He has to be. He's that good. And
Mm.
there's 5 or 6 teams in the CFL who need a starting
Oh
quarterback,
God, there's a ton, right?
right?
There's a
Right?
ton of
Like
teams that need a starter that would take Drew Brown in a second. Um,
totally.
But it also makes you wonder, like, does he want to stay in Winnipeg? Um, he's a California kid. And like many California, West Coast football players, they want to play on the West Coast so they can be closer to family. Um, Drew Brown played at Oklahoma State, played at Hawaii prior to that, but Oklahoma State is kind of his, where the patch he wears, I guess you could say. Um, I wonder. I don't know if there's opportunities on the West Coast. As close west you're going to get is Edmonton or Calgary. Maybe Calgary. Maybe Edmonton, would love to have a Drew Brown.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Maybe
I
even
mean,
BC would love to have a Drew Brown. I mean,
well,
he's
yes, but they have invested in two quarterbacks.
neither of whom is very consistent. Dane Evans and Vernon Adams have had consistency
Vernon
issues.
Adams has looked good this year. Am I saying he
This
is a world
this year,
beater? No.
he threw 6 picks against Toronto. 6 picks.
Yeah, a couple were bad. I agree. I agree. You
I
know,
just wouldn't be surprised to see him starting next year. He's not going to wait around for Collaros to be caught up by age. Collaros is what, 34?
yeah, 33.
Yeah, he 33, 34. He's got a lot of years left. He's got a
Yeah.
3-year deal. Uh yeah, but anyway, I think I think both of our game balls go to Drew Brown. Who else did you give one to? Buck Pierce and Brady Oliveira?
Yeah. For Brady to share with
Yeah.
the O line. Well, like really Buck
Yeah.
and Brady and the entire offense to share with one another because um you know what? The defense deserves a lot of love too. They really do. Yeah, they had some busts
Yeah.
tonight, but uh after the Collaros injury, they forced a whole ton of two and outs in a row.
Yeah. They
Um
shut it down.
yeah. But you know who I got to give a game ball to? Like almost foremost here tonight, Zach? It's Gerard, the chef extraordinaire at Shannon's Irish Pub. If you've never been to Shannon's, you gotta go. Okay. You gotta go to Shannon's because it is not your usual pub. It is eclectic. There is no atmosphere like it. It is literally under the streets of downtown Winnipeg, 175 Carlton, just a quick Nick Dembski run up the gut from True North Square. And at Shannon's, you're going to get your pub favorites. Awesome wings, nachos, burgers, the venison and wild boar burger. They have got a traditional cheeseburger as well. They got one with blue cheese on it. Awesome. Um, Smoked cheddar, blueberry compote on the wild boar and venison burger. And that kind of leads you into what they have. Much more creative, delicious, curated culinary selections on their food menu. Plus, of course, 21 beers on tap, including many of your local microbrew favorites. They have got all your whiskeys and scotches, your Irish whiskeys, everything, cocktails, shooters, whatever you're into. Jets and Blue Bombers games, home and away. They have game day specials, food and drink. You don't want to go without, and you will never go without. Pardon me. You will never go without at Shannon's Irish Pub, 175 Carlton. Go check them out, shannonsirishpub.ca.
When's the next Bomber game? When is the game next week? Is it Friday?
Friday, August 18th.
Uh
Yeah.
okay. Probably I'm coming out to the lake, but I was going to suggest an away game watch party at
We
Shannon's.
got to get
But
it.
we'll
We got to get
see.
it. But you know what? You and I, we don't even have to be there. People can go to Shannon's and have their
Yeah,
watch party there.
totally.
Absolutely. Uh, I don't know what my week looks like. You and I'll talk about it on Bonfire midweek, right? Because you and I'll get that going on Wednesday this week.
Dude,
Wednesday
you'll
7th,
be
back to Wednesday with the Friday game.
poor DB, you'll be doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday bonfire shows. That's
Yes.
it'll be a heavy week.
Yep. Wouldn't have it any other way. Wouldn't have it any other way. Uh, did people
Hey,
hit the
can I
live chat? Like who, you know what? Give us a dark horse game ball suggestion in the live chat. Hit it up right now. Waiters,
do you
maybe
know
a
what
meet up at Shannon's next Friday. Yeah, maybe.
let's do it.
You're
You
gonna
know
make me look
this.
at my calendar right now during a live show.
Well, I was gonna say, you know what this Edmonton team reminds me of? They remind me of the 2013 Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You remember our inaugural season where we go 3-15, and I remember clearly there was one game where the Bombers were up 20-0. Actually, coincidentally enough, on Edmonton, 20-0. This was the Tim Burke led Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We were up 20-0. And at one point, 27-7. Ian Wild, if you remember him, had a fumble recovery for a touchdown to make it 27-7. And the Eskimos at the time took us to overtime and beat us in overtime because I think Max Hall got injured in the end of the fourth quarter and Justin Goltz went in or something like that. Those Bombers were just they found a way to lose games,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm on the one hand I'm glad we're not like that anymore, that's not us anymore. We're like basically the polar opposite of that. We're dominating teams, and even when we're down 22-0, we're coming back and beating teams.
Yep.
But Edmonton is that team now. They're 0-9 in a 9-team league. They've been shut out twice. It's just brutal. Like, I can't imagine that there weren't very many fans out there tonight. I think Taylor Allen tweeted out. I don't know if they're called tweets anymore, but he tweeted out.
Oh, they're
Uh,
tweets. It's Twitter and it's tweets, and it will be till the day I die, as far as I'm concerned.
I love it, DB. I love it. This stupid X thing and posting.
I don't know what you're
Anyway,
talking about. It's Twitter.
Taylor Allen tweeted out on Twitter the lack of fans in the stands there, and then you blow a 22-0 lead like that. Like, that's just brutal.
Yeah.
I feel bad for fans because they have passionate fans just like we do. They're a community-owned team. I think Edmonton, Saskatchewan, and Winnipeg, they really uh, fly the banner of the CFL. And to see that, I mean, I'm glad they didn't win. Don't get me wrong. I'm always happy with a Bomber win, but it's sad. It's sad over there.
I'm just pulling up the final stats. How did that not work? Hang on a second here. There we go.
Fans were dressed as gold and green seats. Jeff Cabellis.
Attendance
Oh.
tonight. Wow. They say, and whew, I got the sun in front of my face here apparently.
Uh-huh.
They say 19,921.
No way. No way. I mean, they got a lot of seats there, but unless people were really spread out.
MTS Center for life. what
You know
about
what
what
we
about
should have?
Investors Group Field instead of IG
Yeah.
Field?
We should have live call-ins on this show and in midweek.
Man, that's pure danger. Pure
Is it?
danger. You know Friesen's going to call in and start saying something ridiculous.
Well, we don't have to let Friesen through the we
Well,
have
now
to
we got to hire a
hire
producer,
we got to
right?
hire a producer. They're, Friesen, but Friesen would try and hide his voice, or he'd call himself Bob Molly or something. We'd have to get his top 10 nicknames down.
How about this? Jamie Fedden. I was sitting, I hope I pronounced that right, Jamie. Sorry about that. But Jamie says, I was sitting in the end zone waving my Bomber flag in
Ah,
Edmonton tonight.
nice. Way to go,
Nice. Saw
Jamie.
you get a picture with DT as well on Twitter. That was cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm with Waiters. I just call it IGF. Well, you know what? Actually, I call it the Madhouse. It's
Yeah,
the
you
Madhouse
call
on
it the
Matheson.
Madhouse. Yeah.
I think we
Can
need
you
to get those
imagine
t-shirts made up. If there's
Madhouse
going
and
to be a
Matheson?
Bonfire Sports t-shirt,
Yeah.
we need to get the
Yeah.
Madhouse on Matheson.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good. Can you imagine not winning a home game in 3 years if you're a fan? I
Yeah.
can't even, like, I've been through the Joe Mack era. I can't even imagine that.
Jeff Cavillas. Don't say his name two more times. You know what happens. I'll definitely not. Well, that's the thing. I'm in a camera. Is that the same as looking in a mirror? When you're looking in a camera and you see yourself?
I don't know, but get back to work, Cabillas. That guy admitted to me he does no work at work. He lets his employees go, and he just sits there and watches Winnipeg Sports Talk. He watches us. Just love that guy. I'm just bugging you, Jeff. I,
Yeah.
I think you're just super efficient.
So, press box announcer at IG Field at the Madhouse, Tom Halleck says Friesen hosted a Sunday night sports call-in show on CJOB many years ago. No baloney. True,
What?
but not the Friesen we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
He's talking about Paul Friesen,
Oh,
columnist,
okay.
an outstanding columnist, might I say, for the Winnipeg Sun. But Paul Friesen got his start in radio. Did you know that? He
I did
did.
not know that.
He did. I
I
didn't know
did
he had a
not
Sunday
know
night
that.
sports call-in show though. But yeah, before he was
I
a
think,
writer.
dude, you and me can handle Collins. It's the Firestarters. We want to hear from them.
Well, that's what the live chat's for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but
maybe
there's
one
something
day.
about can you imagine sign guy Donnie Crookshank calling in? We wouldn't be able to get a word in. He's got those pipes,
I just
man.
have to fade the volume down after the 2-minute rant, right?
uh,
I like this. T
man,
Will. Collins would be the worst idea. This chat is full of clowns. Absolute clowns. T
not
Will.
like scary clowns like Lucha's Purifying that clown mask. That's a scary clown. Like I'm glad my daughter wasn't watching because she was watching the beginning of the game. That'd give her nightmares, Lucha's. Hopefully he heals up fast, Lucha's Purifoy.
Yeah. Um any other thoughts on the game tonight?
No, dude, it was a roll. Being down 22-0 and to the Elks and thinking that Zach Schnitzer had another concussion, to go from that low point as a fan to seeing the epic comeback, the brownout by Drew Brown. I mean, what an amazing roller coaster. What a polarity of emotional states we had as fans tonight. And this is a game we won't soon forget. I mean, I thought last game, 50-14 over the BC Lions was pretty unforgettable. I'm never gonna forget this game.
I got to pull up one more video
38
highlight.
points. 30 points.
38 points. Sorry, I had you muted there for a second. 38 points. I have to do one more video highlight. Here is Drew Brown with a little alley oop. Look at the pressure coming. Look at the pressure coming.
Yeah, I love that
Whoa.
play call.
And this ball's perfect.
Yeah, it was just beautiful, man. And look at Brady just rumble in and just
Finish.
destroy three Elks and finish it to the end zone there. Beauty.
Outstanding play. Outstanding play from Drew Brown, Brady Oliveira, the entire Winnipeg offensive unit. And really, we should give a little bit of credit to the Blue Bombers defensive crew as well. They
Yep.
played really, really well and were a big reason why the Bombers came out 38-29 victors tonight. So with that victory, they are 7-2. The BC Lions are home to Calgary on Saturday this week. We'll see how that game shakes out because Calgary is playing a little bit better than they have before, and no doubt Calgary is going to be, they're gonna have that bitter taste in their mouth for the last time they went to BC. That was week 1, and they got absolutely manhandled, lion handled, paw handled by the Tabbies, or pardon me, by the Leos in that game. Got my cats mixed up there. Forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Calgary has a very good chance of winning that game. We'll see if Vernon Adams Jr. Is the starter. I don't think that's confirmed yet, but Winnipeg 7-2, BC 6-2, and hosting the Stampeders. Really looking forward to Friday's game. Saskatchewan at Montreal. That game is going to be awesome. Ottawa at Toronto. Chad Kelly expected to get the start, or I think confirmed to get the start. But Winnipeg now goes to Calgary on Friday. So we will have Bonfire midweek, as we always do, recapping week 10, looking ahead to week 11. You, Zach Schnitzer, and myself will go live at 7:30 on Wednesday. Chris Walby, the legend, will join me for Game Day Winnipeg and our pregame show, as we always do, the day before the game, live at 3 o'clock. So Thursday at 3 after Winnipeg Sports Talk. And then you and I, as we always do, will have Game Day After Dark right here on Bonfire Sports following Winnipeg's next game. Every game right here on the bonfire. And I sure hope everyone can join us, because that's what makes the fire roar, is everybody gathering around and chiming in before and after the game.
Love it, DB. Love it. Looking forward to this week upcoming, and I'm looking forward to going 8-2.
Yeah. And maybe we'll see some of you. Maybe we'll see some of you Friday night at Shannon's Irish Pub. Big shout out to them. Support us by supporting them. And, well, hey, you're tired.
Oh
Sorry I
man,
caught you there. I
sorry.
caught you on a
I
yawn,
tried
even
to
though I was
stifle that. I was.
sharing
You
the
know when
screen.
you one way to get rid of a yawn is you just exhale as hard as you can. It usually works, but yeah,
Well, you know why
it's
you
like
yawn? You yawn because your body's not getting enough oxygen. So just keep
no,
breathe deep. Breathe
yeah.
deep. You won't yawn.
Okay, I will. I'll take a deep in breath. I thought they still hadn't figured out why people yawn. I thought it wasn't
No, that's
proven
the
that it's
hiccup.
because you get more. Really? I
That's
thought.
the hiccup.
Look it up, man. Why do
Look
people
it up. It's in
yawn?
the book. You ever seen
It's in
Larry
the.
King
It's
drunk saying, look it up? It's in the book.
no.
If you feel like going down a YouTube or a Google rabbit hole tonight, everybody out there, look up Larry King drunk. It's in the book. Look it up. It's in the book. Hilarious.
Look it up. Okay.
Um,
This show is going off the rails, buddy. We got to shut
no,
it
it's
down.
not. Oh, no. No, no, it is not. Looking forward to seeing everybody on Wednesday. We'll get things back on the rails then. Bombers should return to the practice field on maybe Sunday, probably Monday, ahead of that Friday game. So midweek, Wednesday at 7:30, pregame, Thursday, 3 o'clock, postgame, live after the game, all of it live here on Bonfire Sports. Thanks for joining us, Schnitzy. Enjoy the lake
Always.
tomorrow. You're at West Talk, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. West Talk is paradise for me. Super, super excited to be here for another few days. And I almost jumped in the lake in lieu of a Schnitzer stair climb because I was so excited by that Kenny Lawler one-handed catch. But if I would have jumped in the lake, I would have missed the rest of the game. So I decided to stay nice and dry. But filthy, filthy catch. Oh, my God.
Disgusting. Abhorrent.
Disgusting.
Brutal.
Love it.
Uh, Live chat was lit tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining us live. Thank you for joining us. If you're not watching live, we appreciate you a lot. And as always, Zach will sign you out. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bombers win 38-29 in a huge comeback in what Zach calls the brownout game. Have a great one, everybody.
Sayonara, my friends.